Greetings. Welcome to Karen Hope's 15 Minutes of Solid Inspiration, the channel where hope grows inspiration. Thank y'all for being here. It is week number 4 of our weekly review. And that's what I'm jumping on the channel to do tonight, to review, dedicate about a minute or two to each podcast episode of the week. So let's just jump right on into this today, okay? Like I said, like every Sunday, we're gonna just do this. And also, we'll be right back here tomorrow for my announcement of the daily podcast, the most recent episode of Karen Hope's 15 Minutes of Solid Inspiration. We'll be right here tomorrow. So we'll just wrap this up tonight, do some quick reviews of the podcast episode. End it with a little inspiration, and let's call it a night, y'all. It's been, the last few days have been pretty long for me. I don't want to say the last few days. I want to say about a couple of weeks. There have been some major things on my plate, and I do apologize for getting the videos out late, but better late than never, right? And I guess it applies to inspiration too. So let's keep moving forward, shall we? We're gonna start with, of course, Sunday, October the 11th. And please forgive me if I keep looking down at the notes. What I've done is, so I don't have to worry about these Coke bottle glasses, I have, of course, like most people would do, but it just takes me a minute to adjust. I just made the letters about this big on the screen. So now we don't have to really fumble with these notes, but I will be looking down at the screen, okay? So we're going to start with October the 11th, and that was last Sunday. The title of that episode was, If a Feeling from a Dream Lingers, God Answered Your Question. And this is the truth, right? The episodes leading up to that one last week, we vibed a bit about rest and relaxation and reflection and imagination too, and how important it is. All those things, we need all those things to keep our thoughts positive during challenging times, difficult times of self-doubt and self-worry. Self-worry makes sense. Well, times of worry, when you're overly concerned, about things that haven't even happened yet. It's self-torture, man. We really can do that to ourselves. And what we did was we talked about in this episode, despite all those things that are happening, all those things like worldly confusion and that self-doubt, we may not be able to hear God talking to us in the questions that we ask, like why, or or how, or when, or where, or why. Sometimes, and He's answering us all along, and sometimes it takes us, that time of rest, that time of relaxation, of reflection, and just go down deep and get some sleep, and it comes in a dream. And y'all, if that particular dream that just kind of nudges you and kind of prompts you to do things or not do things, or wait on things, or wonder about things, or more specifically, pray about things, God answered your question. Pay attention. Pay attention. Now we're moving on to pay attention to Monday. We're going to pay attention to Monday now, October the 12th. And that title was, God is the Shift. Now, in this episode, we talked about how we need to make those shifts in our lives to become like a more evolved and stable person. And we have to be evolved and stable to what? Be able to be balanced, to be able to manifest the things we need in our lives. If we're not balanced, our imagination might be all wonky, We might think the bad things. We may not be able to see the pleasure in things. We may not be able to see the good in things. We may not be able to see beyond the hurt. We could only see what we're stuck in. That's what happens when you haven't evolved and you are not stable. You just stay stuck, you know? And so when we have those dreams, that we were talking about, we can believe them for what they are. See, and when we can believe them for what they are, then we can make stuff happen. Because it takes faith and belief to make anything happen. Little kids start walking, they take their first step. That has everything to do with the fact that they can do it. They, at that one point, I think that might be our first point of belief. Now that I say that, like, we know we can get to that coffee table. We know we can make it over to our mom's hands. You know what I mean? We know it and we do it. I just thought about that. That's not even in my notes, but I'm glad I came up with that thought. Because it's good. It's a good visualization for me. For me, first and foremost. But it's a good way to think about it. Okay. And that way, and it's a good way to think about it because that way we know it's divine guidance. And if we know it's divine guidance, we can hold on. We can. Now let's hold on and mosey on over to Tuesday, October the 13th. And that shift we were just talking about, behind every single one of those shifts is a blessing. That's the title of this episode. Okay? And it's self-explanatory. When we make those shifts, when we do our work, when we do what we're supposed to do, when we sacrifice, not really sacrifice, because obedience is better than sacrifice. So when we're true to ourselves and we listen to God and we understand that it's greater later, no matter, even if it's already good. Isn't it great to know that it still can be greater later? I think so. It's really fantastic. So, and it takes a shift from a negative mindset to a positive one to really grasp that concept. And when we bring our hearts and our mind from a negative space and we make that shift from negative to positive, blessings start to, I don't want to say appear because y'all, they're there the whole time, but then we start to recognize all the stuff is out of the way and we're able to recognize our blessings, that they're there, right there behind the shift, and God is the shift. So we can do nothing else but be blessed. That's it, right? So let's go on to Wednesday. Right, where are we, on the 14th now? Yes, let me make sure. I will make sure, yeah, we're the 14th now. Wednesday. Now, this episode, was about, so we talked about passion. We started to talk about passion in this episode. And it was our special episode, number 100. Yay! I talked about how when I did my very first podcast, July 3rd, at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was just a fluke. I was like, oh, whatever. It sounds okay. I'm going to post it and see what's happening. I'm going to publish it. And then that was my pilot one, and I've actually done one every day since. Maybe skipped about 2 or 3 in between. But I love it. So that was our, and this is what I was going to say. I expected to have 100 done by December, at least by December. Looks like I said, looks like I'm going to have close to 200 by December. Wow. Wowzer. Okay, so special episode number 100. It was this one. Wednesday. And we started to talk about passion. And what it takes to pick our passion back up if we put it down. And what it takes to recognize it. So if we don't know what it is, we can pick it up on our way. Pick it up and just run with it. Run with our passion. Now we're gonna go on to Thursday now, because that was self-explanatory. We're gonna go on to Thursday now. And I want to quickly mention that Thursdays are our Fleeting Thought Thursdays, and that's the day we come here, meet twice, And sometime in the evening, we'll come here and do like expressions and like free, free flowing talking, and maybe, leave me some comments if you need me to say anything, publicly. I'll do it. I'll be your voice. It's super cool. And there's jokes. Yeah, send me jokes. Like, undoubtedly, I will be telling goofy jokes, but I'll just accept any kind, just not raunchy, okay? But not on the not on the YouTube channel anyway. I do have an email link down in the description box below. Oh my gosh, but you know what? I'm going to give you an example of my jokes, okay? Okay. God, you know what? If somebody is like watching and knows me, they're cringing right now. Okay, I'll tell you like an example, okay? So what do you call a man with no legs and no arms hanging on the wall? Art. What do you call a man with no arms and no legs on the porch? Matt. What do you call a man with no arms and no legs in a pot of hot water? Stew. Okay, moving along. Y'all, don't delete my channel, okay? I'm so goofy. Just don't delete the channel. Okay, let's move on. Move along with some inspiration, shall we? Okay, so I got all off course, but you know what? It's all about transparency, so there you go. It's a little bit more that you know about me with that. Okay, now back to Thursday's business. That title. The title of that episode, excuse me, y'all, my nose. The title of that episode is called Tap In. Tap In. And so, like I said, like we talked about passion in the last episode and in this one here. And this episode was all about passion being that natural drive. The one we're born with, the one, that when people see us when we're little, we're playing with baby dolls or playing with a fire truck or, having an argument out in the playground, we're going back and forth like we can debate, maybe finagle someone out of something. Go talk to daddy. Daddy did, said no. Go talk to mom. Mom said no. Find out somehow, some way. You end up getting it anyway. They say that girl, that boy, that person, that little boy's going to be a lawyer. Or that little boy is going to be, Don Juan. Or that woman's going to be, that little girl's going to be a great mother, a great pediatrician, or whatever. Grown-ups can always tell the passion God puts in us when we don't even know what it is. And they'll see it. But anyway, it's the driving force. Passion is a driving force that gets us where we need to be in our life. And where that is someplace where we're giving God glory, right? While we're operating from a posture, position, and a place of positivity, right? And doing what we love and having fun at it. Life is not supposed to be oppressive. It's supposed to be free. That's why he gives us choices. And that's why he gives us chances. Because sometimes our choices won't be perfect. He's a good God. That's why he gives us chances. Second chance after second chance after second chance after second chance. So, again, in this episode, we talked about those driving forces called passion that lead us to tap into positivity and tap into it. Being passionate is included, y'all. So listen, if you want what's good, tap into yourself and then go tap into that. You know what I mean? Got to tap into the good in you first, and then you can go find the good somewhere else. Now, let's get on to Friday. Talking about going to get it. This episode was titled Go Get It Now. Oh my gosh, in this episode, I talked about how great we are and how we can get what we want. Again, there are prerequisites. Giving God glory, that's a prerequisite. It's got to do that. And it's got to be positive. Anything that's not positive will not be supported by the universe. Now, we might be so logic and we might be so what people call lucky, but God blesses even the wicked. He blesses whoever he wants. Period. Second chances, choices, whatever. So, we are born great. I talked about this. We are born great. It's our birthright. And I also talked about how we forget these things, though. Or, let me backtrack. Either we've never been told, we've never been exposed, we've never heard. It's possible. Some people are that cruel. Sometimes we just don't believe it because people are just that cruel. And sometimes we learned it and we didn't believe it. So then we just forgot about it because people are that cruel. I talked about how great we are like right now, though. Do you know those people who say, oh, well, back, like Al Bundy, back in 1962, I was the number one quarterback in this side of the Pecos. Well, what about right now? Or those people that say, well, all I need is 2 more weeks, all I need is 5 years, all I need is 10 years, and 10 years, I'm a this and that. Well, what about right now? Because that's where the work happens. That's when we do the digging deep. That's when we do the praying. That's when we do the concentrating and the meditation. That's when we do the leg work, the foot work. That's when we do the sketching the ideas and writing down the plans, the developing blueprints. That's when we do it. It's right now. We are great right now. We can't be great yesterday. We can't be great later. No. Great means right now. I don't care. History books might put, like, for instance, Alexander the Great. You know what I mean? No. That was then. He's not great now. That's all I'm saying. So, we can't believe we were great yesterday. We can't believe we're great tomorrow. We have to believe we're great right now, right? And that's the only way we can execute our greatness than what we're born with. We're born with it. Yeah. Oh, you hear Prince singing, y'all? Hey. Okay, so if we want something, it's my favorite. He's my favorite. That's all. More transparency. Team Prince. So if we want something good, we have to act now. We have to think now. We have to think good now. We have to love good now. We have to feel good now. Then we get good now. Saving our last one, which is Saturday. This episode title was We Are Great. Going back to what we were just talking about. We are. We're born that way. We're born that way. We are a word spoken out of God's mouth. Man, come on. There's no way. So anything, really we need to just like we learn things, we become conditioned to things, we have to forgive ourselves. We have to be fair. When we start to realize that we need to understand more, just be fair, shake it off, don't worry about it, and just learn. And be fair with yourself, because just as long as it takes to learn, it takes to unlearn. It takes to unlearn. But, what we're going to do is we're just going to keep going forward, and we're going to wrap up. We're going to go forward by wrapping up this video, because I do want to talk about something before we say farewell until tomorrow. Okay? Let me look down at my notes right quick. Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I do want to say thank you again for being here. And check out the episodes, the podcast episodes, in the links down below here in the description box, down below the video. In the description box, we have 104 episodes to review. Okay, so I think it's so cool. So, yes, go ahead and listen to a few. Scan the titles, and whatever grabs your attention, grab onto that episode and listen, okay? And please, when it comes to this channel, please like this video, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel, okay? So you don't miss a minute of solid inspiration, audio style or video style. Yes, indeed. So, okay, let's talk about this. Let's wrap it up. Let's talk about this balance thing we've been talking about since episode 1. That's what we've been talking about, balance. It's not a joke. You know, it's not a joke individually because we need to be doing our work. But like just imagine if everybody was just all topsy-turvy and turned around, living here in the world together. Like, would we make it out alive? And I'm telling you, it would be an awful place to be. Just horrible. So let me tell y'all something, if I may. We really do need each other down here. We don't need each other like... It's about the energy. Like, we start to run people off and we start to run away. When people start talking about what they need, right? It's a bad way to be, but I guess it's just human nature, I guess. It's all I know. But we do need each other down here for our, I keep wanting to say eternal work. Makes sense to me. But internal. We have to help each other. You know, when we see each other start to get down and have worry and doubt, dig down, and first and foremost, we need to believe it for ourselves so we can tell someone it's okay. It's going to be okay. So we can tell them, I know what you mean. So we can tell them, I've been there before, but I'm not there anymore, and this is how. You know? It's our responsibility. It really is. It helps with this. See, we want this place to be a good place. It needs to be a good place. That's the goal. Who wants to live in a bad place? When we start to look for places to live in a new neighborhood, the first thing we do is make sure it's not a bad neighborhood. We don't want to live somewhere where there's danger. We don't want to live somewhere where there's chaos and confusion. It'll be wherever we go, but why would we intentionally go somewhere where we know that's what it is? That's what I'm talking about. If we know what it is on the inside, we want to move away from that place. We want to move to a different space. We don't want the chaos. We don't want the confusion, right? We don't want it. So, and the reason why we don't want that is because, and around each other, is because we are born to create. We have ideas and we have that come from imagination. The imagination is here for a reason. We're here to say and do and be our ideas. We're here to create them. We're here to have laser focus, and all to give God glory, though. I have to say it, although I say it so much on these podcast episodes that we're going to assume it's understood, but there's never enough saying it for me. It's all to give God glory. The rest is all good after that. It's all good. There's no question. There's no question. And we have to have this laser focus on that, okay? And concentrate on that. So we can, all these ideas that we are born to create and to be for God's glory, takes form. It takes form. And then we understand that it's practical and it's useful and it's valuable and it is for us to do. It is our life purpose. It is our life purpose. And it helps us understand when we're helping each other out down here, like cheerleaders, I guess, or like your pep squad, And a pep squad sometimes are the people that tell you you're not doing good enough, man. You could do better than that. With that kind of tone, whatever. That's trash. Where's the good stuff? See, that's a pep squad too. And we know that all of that that's working around us is all according to the highest wisdom, for our highest good, for our highest purpose in life, or higher purpose in life. Higher or highest, it doesn't matter. We just start to understand these things. We start to basically understand, period, that everything we do is divinely led. Timing and all. Timing and all. And just we are down here to help each other understand this too. That it may not, especially when we're being positive, may not, oh my gosh, that is my jam. I just got thrown off kilter. It may not happen. The things that we see in our mind as perfect and good and exactly what we want, it may not happen the way we see it. Now, this is what I mean. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. But the route we had to take, it was a route or the route we had to take may be different. The time that we thought that it was going to happen in may be different. The way it feels, the way it sounds, the way it works may be different. But this is the good part. It's different, although it's good in our mind. That's why we have it. That's why we have the idea. It's good. But when we trust God about it, and when we're divinely led to it, instead of fighting it, instead of trying to manipulate it, instead of trying to control it, because as long as we're praying and concentrating and meditating and being fair, it's going to be aligned anyway. It's going to be aligned anyway with God's purpose for our life. So when we get there, y'all, although it's good in our mind, it will be beyond our imagination, far above and beyond any expectation that we had. So the bottom line is, when we trust God, when we get to our purpose, it will be better than we could ever think it could be, because this is why. God blesses us every single time when we God, I don't want to say listen, because oh my goodness, listen, notice, recognize, feel, stay, go, talk, shut up, sleep, work. See, I just can't say just listen. It's a whole bunch of motions that flow. And when we follow that flow, God blesses us beyond, again, all of our expectations and beyond our limited imagination. I say limited because it's based on feelings and logic. So limited. You know? So, yeah. And I'm going to wrap this up by saying I really like the way God works. You know? We say it's in mysterious ways, y'all, but I can't stand that. I can't stand that saying. You know, if you know me, you know I hate cliches. If you don't, I'm going to tell you I hate cliches. Because that one thing, God works in mysterious ways, lies. There's nothing mysterious about God. He's God. We may not ever understand. It's not about God being mysterious. It's just about God being God. It is what it is. It's God. What's so mysterious to me is that we don't... Why do we question that? Why does he have to be mysterious? He's not. It's not at all. It's just a mystery to me. It's just a mystery to me. So about us, not about God. So all we know is God is a real deal, right? And there's no mystery. Don't fight that. Why? You know what? There's no fighting it. Let's just go ahead and wrap this video up. And I just want to say that even if things seem unimaginable, we just can't see it, y'all. Just trust God's vision and his plan. That takes us far beyond, it takes us far beyond worry, doubt, conceit, money, you know. And better than that, it helps us pray, because we can imagine and wonder, and we know that every single dream we have, and every single idea we have, and every single desire that we want and feel and need, as long as we go to God with it and we trust what he says about us, and we are victorious in everything we do, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. Nothing can stop it from coming to fruition. Nothing. Can you see that? Can you see that? Well, if you can, what are you waiting for? Go get it. That's all. Thank you for tuning into the channel, y'all. Thank you for taking your time to be here with me and listening to me say all of these things that I really feel. I appreciate you growing through with me. Okay? Please check out the links in the description box below. Check out some episodes of my daily inspirational podcast, Karen Hope's 15 Minutes of Solid Inspiration. And again, I'll see you here again tomorrow on this channel for the announcement of the most recent podcast episode. Please like this video, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much again. See you tomorrow to exchange some awesome energies.